Wholesale Hotline number 45. Are you kidding me, guys? I mean, we are staring right in the eyes of a crispy brand new year right around the corner. Like, this is the last one of the year. 45 weeks we have come to answer all of your wholesaling questions, breaking it down into three main parts: lead generation, conversion, and exit strategy or disposition, which leads me beautifully into introducing my co-hosts. Of course, the incredible Pace Morby, Mr. Sub 2, Mr. Creative Financing, Mr. Can Close Any Deal. Don't even get him started. Nobody compares. He is on a different level. And stepping in for the number one wholesaler in the country is his protege, his the guy that's coming after him with all of his fury and all of his passion and all of his love. And that is Thomas Martinez. And we're so excited to have you on here, Thomas, for the first time. You are you have listened to Jamil. Not a lot of people have listened to Jamil, but you listened to Jamil. You've worked for Jamil. You work with Jamil, and now you own 15 KeyGlee franchises. Yes. And you are just going bananas. So give everybody kind of your background, your story. How did you get into wholesaling and working with Jamil? And now how many deals are you doing every single month? Because it's bananas.
Man, I tell you. So really working with Jamil in the beginning for the first 2 years when I first got introduced to KeyGlee, I was a sponge. Literally, I copied every single thing that Jamil was doing. I even dressed like Jamil. I wanted to be as much like Jamil as absolute possible. So I would listen in on his calls, look at what he was doing while he was on those calls, and really just copied his exact movements. He was doing about 50 to 100 deals month after month. And I was like, how do I get there? What do I have to do? And his energy just transferred over to me.
What was your role? What was your position?
Acquisitions director. And I met with Jamil every single week. What can I do better? How can I learn how to comp better? He walked me through step by step how to have conversations with sellers, agents, wholesalers, buyers, you name it. Anything that I would absolutely need to build a wholesale business, Jamil taught me how to do.
So, and Thomas, you were in charge of building new relationships for KeyGlee, to get deals coming into you guys. Yep. Not necessarily working with building the buyer database. No. Or were you doing both? Okay, so
I was doing acquisitions, but in acquisitions, I met buyers, and those buyers loved working with me. So then I started selling them deals as well. And the main thing Jamil really taught me was to be as convenient to others as possible. So really, how can you add value and how can you get them an answer as quickly as possible? So really, when somebody would say, I have a property in the pipeline, first thing I would do is ask them, okay, what's the address? And I would comp it while I'm on the phone with them and give them what I would buy it at and what I would sell it at, or what I would just buy it at, and they just knew that they could count on me. So I just kept doing that for each relationship I had. And I would talk to Dispo team and I would find out what my buyers were looking for, what the criteria was that they would specifically be looking for. And then I would relay that over to acquisitions and just focus on finding that specific property. And I was doing about 75 or more properties when I left KeyGlee and started my own franchises. And now, we're doing over 100 properties a month.
100 properties a month.
Yes.
When did you start in this business?
What's that?
When did you start in this business?
Mid-September.
Of? No. All the way back. All the way back. Started wholesaling.
Yeah. So about 4 years ago. So 2006.
Pace, come on.
Yeah, it's insane. A common question I get every day in my DMs on Instagram is, hey, I've got a deal. Do you have buyers?
Yep.
Right. So many times people spend so much time with an emphasis on the contract that when they finally get that contract, they've relied entirely on their ability to comp the property before they even decide to reach out to a buyer. And then they're stuck. They have this timeline, right? The anxiety goes from, I need my first contract, or I need my next contract, or I need whatever. And it's anxiety, anxiety, anxiety. They get a contract, you celebrate for about 3 or 4 minutes. And then the next anxiety sets in, which is, holy moly, I need to find a buyer. Okay. So KeyGlee, for anybody that doesn't know what KeyGlee does, KeyGlee satisfies that need to find a buyer. It's massive. It's a massive business. It's one of the most important parts of this entire operation that we call wholesale. Okay. Brent Daniels has started a movement with cold calling and reaching out to sellers and how to communicate with sellers, how to do your outreach, get your business going. And ultimately, KeyGlee came on the back end and said, how do we help you find buyers for all those contracts that you TTPers are knocking out? Okay. Same thing with Astro students and all that kind of stuff. So I look at you, Thomas. I had a 45-minute call with one of my students today in Atlanta. And I walked through how to find buyers and do all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, what I end up just telling people is call a KeyGlee franchise. They're going to take the majority of the work off your freaking plate.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
going to get you paid and they're going to help you out. So walk through the process. If I'm somebody watching Wholesale Hotline right now, why do I care about you? What value do you bring to me? What value do you bring to me as a wholesaler? What can you do for me? Are you helping me validate my comps? Are you helping me, sell my deal? What value do you bring to me? And why do I care that your handsome face is on Wholesale Hotline number 45, the last one of the year?
Love it. Okay. Well, the biggest thing is buyers. That's the foundation. You could count on me to sell your property. Really, if we're buying the property, so we buy properties in Vegas, Tucson, Ohio, Houston, Texas, and we're actually doing flips in those markets. So you could count on me to give you a committed buy number in those markets where I'm the end buyer. And then you could also count on me to, if I'm not the end buyer, sell that property, because we know our buyers like the back of our hand. So we know their criteria. We know what they're searching for, whether it's commercial property, multifamily property, single family property. We know really our buyers like it was our own criteria. So you could count on us really to find you a buyer for the property that you have under contract. We're working on finding buyers for turnkey properties, you name it, like any property that you could possibly have, we want to have the buyer for, so that it fills that need for you. And then if you're working on acquisitions, we want to help you with your acquisitions funnels. A lot of the time we even, give you our strategies of whatever funnel you're working on. We want to give you that strategy so that you can get more deals. If you're doing 5 deals a month, we want to turn that into 10 deals a month or 20 deals a month and show you how to get there. We have a full roadmap for my GMs. I have a full roadmap that they need to follow to do at least 20 properties their first month. And these people, they're brand new to real estate, each one of them. And they're doing 20 deals within their first month from the training that I'm able to give them and from the coaching that I'm able to give them.
Incredible.
So, I'm a new person, right? So I'm brand new.
Yep.
And I'm out reaching out. I'm TTPing. I'm talking to people. I'm getting on my phone. I'm cold calling. I'm following the TTP script. I'm cranking out phone calls. I get a hold of a seller. The seller says, yeah, I'd be open to a cash offer. What is your offer? And I don't feel confident yet in my comping, right? I don't feel confident in my comping. Who should I reach out to? How should I reach out to you? If you are in if you're in the market that I'm working, how should I communicate with your team in order for you to help me go back to that seller and give them the appropriate price to lock up that contract?
So we have a GM set in each market, and they'll be able to assist you with any deals that you're working on. They're the market expert, so that they know which everything about that market, all the buyers that we have, and they should be able to back in with an offer from our buyer for that property.
Love it.
Awesome. What happens if they can't? So there's some questions, and just to kind of set this up, guys, if this is like, I know we have a lot of people here that come every single week, but for the first 15, 30 minutes, what we usually do is we open up the conversations, we get our brains going, we have kind of some topics, some thoughts. This is all about dispo. So as things are starting to bubble up to the surface, questions in your head and your brain, make sure that you're putting them in here so that we can answer it in the back hour or so, that we can answer these questions, because we have a rare opportunity here. This guy has 15 franchises. All right. He's here to answer some questions. So make sure that you're asking him. But I think it's important to kind of set the foundation of what we're going to be talking about today, which is fantastic. And I think what it comes down to, Thomas, is really you are matching up cash buyers with wholesalers that don't have strong buyers lists yet.
Correct.
Or maybe they don't even want to deal with cash buyers, right?
Yep. Exactly.
And you're playing middleman.
Yes.
Incredible.
I am able to really give you the criteria to look for, even like, hey, I need a property, in Chandler, Arizona, that's a 4.2, 1,200 square feet, 1980 build. I'm able to give you those criteria so that you can go specifically find that property as well. Like, we're able to help you with that so that you know exactly what we're looking for. And when you have that locked in, it's sold. That's the service that we want to provide you with.
Will somebody, because I know your team's there, Thomas, will somebody from your team put the markets that you're in?
Yes.
In the chat here?
Alex Balazato, he's actually in the chat. He's going to put all of the markets that we're in and who to contact for each market.
And anybody listening to this, maybe they're not watching it, but they're listening to it later. Will you tell us the markets that you're in, if you can remember all 15?
I tell you, it's easy to read through the list, but yes, I will give you that. So Tucson, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, Houston, Texas, Columbus, Ohio, St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, Orlando, Florida, Tampa, Florida, Sacramento, California, Birmingham, Alabama, Salt Lake City, Utah, Charlotte, North Carolina, Memphis, Tennessee, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Atlanta, Georgia. Those are 15 that we're currently in. And then we plan on venturing off into another 10 this come January.
And wait, just in January, you're going to do another 10?
Correct. And I could give you those ones as well.
Yes, I would probably tell everybody where else you are.
Yep. So Nashville, Tennessee, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C., Oklahoma City, Boise, Idaho, New Jersey, Chicago, Detroit, Miami, Prescott, and Flagstaff, Arizona, Akron, Ohio, and Cleveland, Ohio.
Dude,
incredible.
There are so many people that need you in those areas. I love hearing that you're going to Jersey. I love hearing that you're going to Miami, because there's a lot of people, wholesalers, that actually kind of want to stay away from Miami just because of all the weird, what would you say, embezzlement?
Shenanigans.
Yeah, the shenanigans. That's the best way to say it. So I love that you're going to Miami. I love you're going to Boise, because that place is blowing the freak up, man. That place is crazy. Nashville is huge. Birmingham, Alabama. I can't tell you how many people ask me about Birmingham, freaking Alabama, and I send them over to Ask Flipman, Ty the Flipman Taylor.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be great to have a KeyGlee franchise there, because Ty's like, yo, dude, I can't handle all these leads. Like,
oh man,
this is going to be amazing.
Yep.
Amazing. Which market are you the most excited about? Which one do you feel like is going to satisfy the biggest need? Like, they need help the most?
So Birmingham is a big one. We get so many leads there. Same with Chicago and Baltimore. That's those are three markets that we just get hammered on. We just get so many leads through there. So many wholesalers that need their deals sold. Really, as soon as a GM, a general manager that I hire, steps into a market, he's just getting blown up with leads. He or she, yeah, they're just getting funneled so many properties, and there's such a need in each of these markets. And I know KeyGlee needs to be there. That's why we're going after all of these markets, because there's such a huge need.
Bro, you've got so many people in the chat blowing up like, KeyGlee's coming to Jersey. John Stokes says Chicago. Yes, man. And Ashley's like, Miami here is intense. And I can tell you, finding legitimate buyers in Miami is going to be a massive, massive improvement for that market.
Yep.
Robert Hernandez says, what's Ty's info? Robert Hernandez, I'm not going to give you Ty's info, although I do love Ty. He is a personal friend of all of ours. I'm going to give you Thomas from KeyGlee's information because he's branching into Birmingham and he can handle your leads. I've actually had Ty come back to me and say, hey, bro, I can't handle all these leads. What do you want me to do with them? I'm like, if only somebody had the wits about them to jump into the Birmingham market to do dispo, we could freaking change the game there. So Thomas at KeyGlee.com. Guys, look at the screen. If you guys are on Audible, or I'm sorry, not Audible. If you're on Spotify or iTunes, you're just going to be having to hear this. So it's Thomas with THOMAS at KeyGlee.com. And his Instagram name is at Thomas Martinez, REI is his Instagram. So DM him on Instagram, blow him up on his email, Thomas at KeyGlee.com. It is on the screen. So you guys need access. Here's the other thing. Thomas knows all the other KeyGlee franchisees.
Yep.
So if you guys need help directing to people in your markets, there's a lot of other franchisees like Natasha Turner and other amazing, like there's a TTPer who I love, Natasha Turner. She's running. Which market is Natasha in, Thomas?
Kentucky.
He's in Kentucky. Yep.
So she's in Kentucky. Right. So Thomas knows all the other franchisees. You guys have a weekly call. You know everybody by their first name. So if you guys need help in your market, reach out to Thomas right now. Send him an email. We have nearly over 300 people watching live right now. Thomas should get 300 freaking emails right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is amazing, Pace. I thought it would be a light night, you know, honestly, with the New Year's and Christmas and everything. We got 300 people on here. That is incredible. These are the people that are serious. And if you're out there and if if the one missing piece is, I don't really know how to comp this, or I want to have some security that if I tell a seller that I could do it at this price, or if I need, I mean, are you helping them out with like proof of funds or any kind of letters or any kind of help there? I mean, I assume you could help out with some of that, right?
Yep. Anything that they need.
Anything that you need. Listen, guys, you have here the reason we have the sorry Thomas to talk over you, but the reason we have Thomas on here is this is a resource, guys. Like this is incredible. Like all you have to do is think about if the only thing you had to worry about doing is finding ugly houses and putting them under contract.
Yep.
Finding a distressed property owner, having a quality conversation that leads to converting it, which means a signed contract. And then you know with confidence that you're going to get paid on that. One of the most frustrating things as we start out is canceling your first 3 or 5 deals. It is. Because you got it too high, because you didn't put in the right terms, because you didn't know how to communicate effectively with your cash buyers. I mean, you know, that's very, very, very common as you're starting to build momentum that you have to put some under contract and then get out of them. Imagine if you could go with confidence and know that you could make, maybe it's not these huge deals off the bat, but you can make the $3,000, $5,000, $15,000, and Thomas is there, you know, giving you like a security blanket. You know what I mean? It's incredible. So it's a resource, especially if you're starting out. If you've got your own buyers database, go crazy, make a ton, do your thing. You can still bring it to Thomas. He's still going to give you the right thing. But the most important thing I think I got to say, and this is from real experience working with Thomas, seeing Thomas at every RIA meeting, every Steve Trang meeting, everything. He's everywhere. He answers his phone and he gets back to you. He gets back to you. His team is all based on that. And that's what I love the most is the ability to communicate. Because if if people send it to the black hole of communication and there's no response, then, you get frustrated. And Thomas is really, really, really good about it. And that's why he's so successful. So that is a tip for everybody that wants to be like Thomas in the future. Respond to your communications. Respond. Treat everybody respectfully, treat everybody with kindness, and respond, even if it's a no or you can't help or whatever else. Communicate.
Yep.
Awesome. Should we start?
Got a ton of great questions, bro. A ton of really good questions. Do you mind if I jump on a couple of them real quick?
Yeah. Most definitely. So you guys are doing a great job squatting up with each other in the chat. We're well over 300 viewers right now between Brent's YouTube, the Creative Finance Facebook page, and
Wholesale Hotline's Facebook page. So we appreciate you guys watching live. Again, if you guys can't watch the whole show, you've got to tune in and tune out. One of the best ways to catch this show is on Spotify and iTunes. So tell all your friends that we are a podcast as well, just not just a live stream. So we're going to do our best to put the questions on the screen and then rehearse them before we say them, so anybody listening to this can actually get some value. So Jeremy Johnson says, how many wholesalers here are also contractors? I've been contracting for 15 years. Great question. So everybody, you need to be looking at the side chat when you're watching this live. Interact with each other. You guys should be getting to know each other, and you guys should be working with each other on deals, comping, helping find contractors, etc. That is the purpose of this show, is to encourage you guys to squad up. Okay. So again, before we get into some Q&A, which I want tons and tons of Q&A all about disposition today, guys, please look at the screen, Thomas at KeyGlee.com. He's already listed his addresses, or I'm sorry, his state. And I get a lot of people in here saying, how do I contact him? However, your contact information is on the screen. So guys, keep helping people that are jumping into the show know that Thomas's contact information is on the screen this entire show. So if I have a question about where there is a KeyGlee franchise that can help me find a buyer, Thomas, even if you are not in that area, are you okay helping me find a franchise that can help me?
Yes, most definitely. I'd be more than happy. Yep.
Where is KeyGlee corporate? Is KeyGlee corporate in any other market besides Phoenix, or is everything now transitioning to franchises outside of Phoenix?
They're currently working in Phoenix and Orlando and Tampa, Florida. But I also have a franchise in Orlando and Tampa, Florida. So could reach out to either or. I'd love to work with you, that's for sure. And definitely want to make sure you guys feel the love and appreciation. One of the big things I'm all about is, making sure you have an answer as quickly as possible. So when somebody calls me with a property, I'm giving them the buy number on that call.
So this is what's interesting. I want to point this out, okay? Because this has actually come up a couple of times in the side chat. Is people are saying, "Oh, well, KeyGlee or Thomas is not KeyGlee corporate; he's a KeyGlee franchise." Let me tell you a little bit of something about Thomas. Thomas was KeyGlee corporate for years. He is who helped build that company from the ground up. He was there almost from the very, very beginning. And guess where Thomas currently works on a daily basis? Is inside KeyGlee corporate office. Okay, he is there are you there every single day, Thomas?
Actually, I ended up getting my own office because I outgrew that office.
Wow, I love it. Okay, so as of the last time I was in the KeyGlee office, which was about 30 days ago, you were still working in there. So guys, in my mind, Thomas is KeyGlee. Okay, Thomas is the man. Reach out to Thomas. If he's not in your area, he'll still help you find somebody in their area. He works hand in hand with everybody at KeyGlee. He just outgrew. He got so good. Now he went out and bought $1.5 million in franchises. That's how badass this guy is. Oh my gosh, Thomas, I am so freaking pumped for you. So Thomas, give us some secrets on finding buyers. Let's say I'm in North Dakota and there's no franchise there for at least the foreseeable future, maybe 12 more months. How do I find buyers? What's the secret sauce that everybody's looking for? Is it just doing the work, or is there like a special place that you have to look under a rock and then you have to talk to a worm and get the secret passcode to find a buyer? Like, what is the challenge with finding buyers?
Yep. So the biggest tool that you could use right off the bat is contacting renovated property listings, listing agents, and getting right to the source, really, or asking them how many different investors do they list properties for, if that investor is looking for their next property, finding out about their criteria. That's probably the easiest way to find a ready and able buyer.
So how do you find those agents, and then how do you have this conversation with them?
Yep. So I really go through Zillow, super simple, look for renovated listings. Their number is right on the Zillow listing. I contact them and I pretty much ask them, hey, I got a property right in the same neighborhood. is your investor looking for their next flip?
So you call them?
Yep. I call
just out of the blue.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
This is a tough business, isn't it?
Super simple. Super simple. We probably add about 50 buyers from that strategy each month alone. And
yeah,
and
so are you sending your deals directly to that agent, and then that agent is sending it to their clients?
Yep.
And how does that agent get paid?
So they normally put their markup on top of what I give it to them at.
Break that down like I'm a 10-year-old.
So
what does that mean?
Yeah. So say if I get the property for 150 and I give it to this agent, that agent now has to sell that property above 150 to fit in their commission. So they sell it for, let's say, 160. So now they get that $10,000, and I do all the paperwork for them so they don't have to worry about how that looks.
Got it. And then they get paid as a commission at closing?
They get paid through an assignment normally.
Got it.
So I assign the property over to them, and then they assign the property over to their buyer.
Fantastic.
So real quick, Kevin R. asks a question in the side chat. He says, if anyone has a purchase and sell contract for New Jersey, please email me at resolvedrealty99@gmail.com. I can tell you the best place to find a purchase and sell agreement for wholesale is at talktopeople.com. Can I find your a free wholesale contract over at talktopeople.com, Brent?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so all I have to do is go to talktopeople.com and I can get a free wholesale contract that will work nationwide, correct?
We've got so many resources in there. It's bananas. It's absolutely bananas. But yeah, absolutely. Now
you
listen,
have the domain name, it's bananas.com.
I have Brent'sBananas.com, but that's a totally different industry. No. No. But check it out. Talktopeople.com. I highly suggest, listen, you can get Kevin, just if you want to get something that's really nitty gritty in New Jersey, very specific to New Jersey, I would reach out to any closing attorney or title company in that market that is doing wholesale deals. Just go to any of your Facebook groups, any of the fix and flip groups, any of the real estate investing groups, and find out who is the best escrow officer or closing attorney that does wholesale deals, and then ask them for the contract that they prefer. I mean, you could go out with confidence with the one that you download from me. But if there's something specific in there for New Jersey, you're going to want to put that in there. And typically what they do is they'll amend your contract, the closing attorney or the title company will. So don't get too hung up on it. But yeah, I mean, just reach out. Yep. So Thomas, you find every listing agent that has a flip, you educate them that, hey, listen, I can give you to you at this price. You add your commission on top of it and sell it to your buyers, and they're cool with that. They're not like, no, bro, I want 3% of the price that you're selling it at. You run across that?
No, they're normally fine with it because it's a free lead, and a lot of the time, agents always have investors that they work with. Like if you call up any agent, even if it's not a fully renovated property, they normally say everybody's looking for fix and flips. So that's the perfect person to give your properties to. Yep. Because they have the buyers for them.
And then how do you reach out when you do have a deal? Is it an email blast?
Yeah. No. So I just go one at a time really right now. I have my team really dial in and focus on each person. Sometimes they set up a call. They do a text to a whole bunch of agents saying, hey, are you available at this time for a quick call? I have an investment opportunity for your client. Or, I have a real estate property that I'm looking to sell. Would you be able to help? And get a very good response rate from that.
From actually just calling them. Like setting up a call and communicating like human beings.
Yes. Right? That's the biggest thing.
Is it driving you crazy? Are people sending you deals right now and it's driving you crazy not answering them?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Show me your phone.
And I tell you, it's just it's fun. Getting a lot of Slack messages, but it's Maureen just texted me, Indiana. Thank you for reaching out to me, by the way. Definitely would love to do deals together in Indianapolis. And Scotty Free, thanks for reaching out. Birmingham, Craig, thank you for reaching out. Tucson. There's many people that emailing me like, man, I tell you, it's
not, guys, I can tell you right now, it's not enough emails. We got 350 plus people
really
watching live.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be more people emailing this man right now.
Yep.
So real quick, this is a great question, actually. I am curious about this. Manny Blue asks, what is your guys' take on LLC setup? The online filing companies is great. Thomas, this question's for you, so get ready because this is going to get real transparent in your business. If you own 15 franchises, do you have 15 separate LLCs? And do those LLCs, are they set up in each individual state? How are you guys setting up your LLCs?
So AEM Real Estate Group, LLC, is the LLC, and we just register it to each state that we go into. And I actually have Alex help me with that. And he registers it in every single state that we go into. I believe he actually has a broker that does it for us, that assists us with it. It's that's actually not the side that I'm really into. I'm more into the coaching, but that's how we file it. We just register it to every single state that we go into or any future markets that we have gone into.
Love it. So the way I set up all my LLCs is similar. I have an attorney here in Arizona. Actually, his name is Sean St. Clair. Is the same attorney as Steve Trang and a lot of other real estate investors. We kind of find these really good resources and we all share the same resources all around. Same thing with the resources that Brent has on his website and the resource that we brought here to Wholesale Hotline, Thomas Martinez from KeyGlee. We find the best resources. We bring them to you. Sean St. Clair sets up all of my LLCs. So today, I started a hard money lending company. So we're hard money lending to some of our own cash buyers with some of our own cash. Pretty cool. Yep. So boom. So excited. And so my bookkeeper and Sean St. Clair, they go and take my holding company, which owns all of my LLCs, and they're just creating another LLC here in the state of Arizona. I let them do all of it. And then it probably ends up costing me $300 or $400 to have a professional do it. And then I personally have my attorney and my bookkeeper sign as the people who do all the paperwork so that my name does not show up on any LLC whatsoever. Full anonymity. Nobody can find any LLC I own. So that's the way I do it. Similar to what you're doing. Now, if I own real estate in another state, I do the same thing as you. I create an LLC in that state. And then this is an interesting thing. I have my Arizona holding company own that LLC in the other state. So anybody that's doing multiple states of wholesale, that's how I do it. I have one main company that owns each individual LLC across each individual state. Hopefully that answers your question, but I don't use those online companies to start my LLCs because there's anonymity and there's things that I really care about that I would rather pay a little bit more money to have it done properly.
Yep.
I love it.
Guys, by the way, we're
real quick page.
375 live viewers right now. Guys, thank you so much. Please like, please comment, please share. Let's try and get this to 400 watchers today because Thomas needs 400 freaking emails. His email is right down at the bottom of the screen, thomas@keyglee.com. Blow this guy up. And what I want you guys to ask him is, who can you connect me with in my local market that can help me dispo deals? Either A, one of his 15 markets he's in, or B, he's going to connect you with the appropriate people in your market.
Yep. I'd love to. And like I said, I'm here to help in any way I can. If you want to do your flip, you can use my crews. If you want lending on a property to do a flip, I'm here to help you with that. I have many private lenders that are fully trusting in me to provide them with properties to lend on. If you want proof of funds to get a deal locked in, you can use my proof of funds. If you need me to assist you on closing a deal, I will do a 3-way call with the seller. I do at least one of those each day. If you need help valuing a property, I'll do it in 5 seconds over the phone with you. Super simple. Whatever you need, I want to help.
And guys, he's doing 80 deals a month. In case you just jumped on here, for the 250 people that weren't there for the intro, he's going to do 1,000 deals, right?
Oh,
He's got 15 KeyGlee franchises, and he's going to get it up to 25. So that is it's incredible. Yeah, let's get 400 plus. Love it.
I love it.
So, well, let me ask you this, because Jamil has his training and his kind of philosophy and the way that he breaks down comping a property. You just made the comment that you could comp any property in the United States in 5 seconds. How is that even possible? Can you help the people that are struggling with that? I mean, obviously, it's always good to have you in backup, but how do people do that on their own? How do they get going? How do they know that the lead that they're following up with is actual potential? You know what I mean? How do you do that?
So, I mean, I've been through 4,500 transactions or more. So it definitely helped having that knowledge and that experience. And then I comp about, over 100 properties a day for the team alone. So really, like I have a gut feeling now, like I could see maybe 3 properties, and through those 3 properties, I can determine the value pretty spot on. And that's kind of how Jamil was doing it. I was wondering, how can you comp a property in less than 10 seconds? And so I literally got over his shoulder and saw him comping, 5 properties at a time within less than a minute. I was like, how do you do that? So I started literally just on Zillow at least 5 hours a day. That's the most frequent app that I'm using, that's most of my screen time is Zillow. So just learning each market individually, seeing the values, knowing bungalows, knowing Tudor style homes, brick builds, stick builds, knowing the difference between 1900 builds and 1990 builds, just like kind of gauging that through each market, you kind of generalize. And
do you think if we did something called the competition, that you and Jamil could go head to head, and we would call it the monthly competition?
There we go. I love it.
Who do you think would win, TTP? Do you think that Jamil could even stand a chance to this guy?
Hey, listen, Jamil was champ for a long time, but he's got young blood coming at him. You know what I mean? He's got that fire. This dude's comping probably twice as many as Jamil on a daily basis right now. So who knows? I think it's up in the air. The old lion might be able to take it, but I think Thomas has the confidence behind him. But Thomas, how many realistically, and obviously this will just be kind of like a ballpark, but how many addresses did you comp? Kind of go back a couple years to feel comfortable, to feel like you're not going to screw somebody up or screw up a deal, and understand the number. You know what I mean?
So it took me about probably, I'd say about 7 months or so to really understand, how to comp and value a property. I mean, I would make a decision to buy a property and commit to within a minute. Like, hey, like if Billy Bell sent out a property, within the first 30 seconds, we're making that call and trying to buy that property. Yep. Like I just know it off of really like the area that it's in, and like, 1990s stucco tile home in Gilbert, Arizona for around $250. I know I'm buying that, that's a 2,000 square foot house. I don't even have to look at the property a lot of the time. I kind of just know the market so well that I could comp the property without even looking at the comps, because I looked at that area over and over and over and over again.
So if somebody's never comped a property, they didn't even know what the word comp, they don't even know what it means. They don't know what it means comparable. They haven't done a lot. They're just, they have found this because somebody suggested it to them. They're watching it now. How would you teach them their first, to comp? You know what I mean? Like to do their first few, to where they're feeling like they're in the flow, they're understanding, they're speaking the language, they're feeling more comfortable. You know what I mean? What would they do?
So really the first thing I do is pull up the address, and I look at the bed bath count. So whether it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Yep, on Zillow.
So you have the Zillow app.
I have the Zillow app. Yep. Type in the address, put it in the search bar. go to the map, go to filters, go all the way down to the bottom, make sure satellite view is on map, because I like to look at the different subdivisions, the roof styles, and like to see the different colorations in the roofs to make sure I'm staying within my subdivision and same build. And then I just go through it. So first thing I look at is the bed bath count, whether it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, what the square footage is, around 2,000 square feet, and then the year build, how new it is, you know, whether it's a 1900 build or 2000 build, and then have that general knowledge. And then the first thing I look for in my subdivision is that highest comp that I can see. And I click on that highest comp and I see how far away that square footage is from my square footage, or how new that one is compared to mine. Like I compare those two, and that will kind of give me a general idea just off that the highest comp of what my value could be. And then I work down. I click on the next highest comp, and then the next highest comp, and then I figure out really what the value is from there.
And then from there, do you put together a certain percentage that you want to be at? So
depending on the market, like St. Louis, for instance, that's 70% minus repairs. In Vegas, that's, you know, sometimes even 80% we're buying at.
Yep.
You know, so it really minus no repairs. You know, we're just buying at 80%.
How do you find out what that percentage should be per market? You know what I mean? Like somebody's like, I don't know what my market is right now.
Yes.
You know?
So the biggest thing we do, so you could always reach out to us, of course. We're supposed to be the market experts. So definitely would love to give you value there and educate you on the market if we can. But in order for us to find out what the market is, we always try to contact the top performers in that market, or somebody that has been doing deals frequently, an agent, a buyer, a wholesaler, somebody that can give us knowledge on the market. And I asked them a list of questions, and I even asked some people to provide me with a map of the good areas and the bad areas, and what style homes there are, whether there's a lot of bungalows, Tudor style, what to look out for, where the historic districts are.
You're asking this of real estate agents?
Yep. I'm asking.
And why would they give it to you? Because you're nice?
I guess so. I mean, a lot of people just want to help you.
Right.
A lot of people just want to, you know.
Yeah, but you have a really good tone of voice. You have a very friendly demeanor. You're always smiling. You can hear the smiling in your voice. These things are tips, guys, when you are talking to people that really matter. Yes, the words coming out of your mouth matter, but the tone of which you are using those words are so much more impactful. If you go there with confidence, that certainty and likability, that's what you're looking to do there. And the doors will open up. People will work with you. I talk about it all the time with my TTB family members that, listen, if you're getting stuck on a specific comp, call that agent that's listed right there on Zillow that's doing a flip and tell them, hey, listen, I'm locking up this deal. What do you think it would sell for if it was totally renovated? And they get the answers. Like, people are willing to help you. Real estate agents don't have salaries. They work 100% commission. So they're seeing you as an opportunity to add income to their family's bottom line. So you go there friendly and nice and smiling and standing up and bring your personality to them, and don't be nervous and tentative. They're going to answer those questions, and you're going to get incredible market knowledge. You're going to tap into some people that have been real estate agents for 20, 30 years. They're going to download that data into your brain in a 5-10 minute conversation, and now you're going to be in a much better place.
Yep.
Right? Hey, can I interrupt real quick? Because we just officially broke to 410 live viewers. Appreciate you guys liking, sharing, staying on here. Thank you so much. So here's the thing. When we first start the show, right, everybody gets an email notification that's a subscriber to Brent's channel. They get an email notification that's a subscriber to my YouTube channel. And it takes people a while to get logged in. So we start out at 125 viewers, then we get to 250, then we get to 350, and now we're over 400. So what that means is there's a good amount of people that have just tuned in. They don't know who's on the screen. They don't know what we're talking about. So we got to rehearse. We got to talk about what's going on here. So Brent, why don't you do a recap, and let's get Thomas's freaking email flooded with people. Why don't you give us a recap of who this guy is, what we've been talking about?
Listen, Thomas Martinez now owns 15 KeyGlee franchises. What that means to you is this. If you are in anywhere, really, you could reach out to Thomas and he's going to give you the confidence and the support. One, you can get a proof of funds, which we have had. How many times have people asked us that on this space? 1,000? 1,000 times it's how do I get a proof of funds? Right? Here he is. Okay. His email's in this whole thing. It's scrolling on the bottom. Second, him and his team, if they're in the market, can give you very, very, very accurate numbers on what you need to buy a deal at. So if you're like, oh man, I don't know about this property and I don't know what price and this, I don't know if this seller's truly motivated or not, you can talk to them. They can give you a buy number so you can feel confident. And then if you don't have the cash buyer set up, he will help you sell the deal. This is what he does. He does it 80 to 100 times a month around the country. So it's not, he knows what he's doing. He's got all the paperwork. He can help, really, really help, like, grease this whole thing down so that you only have to focus on the most important thing, which is going out and having quality conversations with distressed property owners, getting the opportunities and making income on it so you can replace your job, so that you can pay off your debts, so that you can start buying properties, so that you can get passive income, and so that you can live the life of Pace Morby.
Boom, baby. I love it.
Guys, while we've got 400 people watching, I want you guys to do me a favor. This coming week, I'm going to be on Clubhouse with Justin Colby. And if anybody that is not on Clubhouse yet, please join. It's going to be a lot of fun. Basically, it's an app that it's a new social media app that's all about talking to your audience live. All right. So I just gave you guys the link. Please jump in, register for our upcoming Clubhouse on Wednesday. Next week, the week after New Year's, Brent Daniels, Steve Trang, myself, Jamil, and a couple of other guests are going to be hosting another Clubhouse. So please jump in, listen to Justin Colby and I talk about how to smash it in 2021. That's happening this coming Wednesday. Thomas, how many emails do you have, bro? Do you have a ton?
Man, I tell you. Oh, man.
I'd be pissed if you don't have 400 emails. Like, I'd be so pissed at our audience that is not coming through and swamp. Guys, make this guy not be able to work for like the next 2 days because he's got to reply to 400 emails.
So 80 so far.
80?
80.
Guys, he's only got 80 emails. We got 400 plus people watching between a couple different streams. Freaking swamp this guy. Here's the other thing. You need to save his contact information because not only can he help you dispo in 15 different markets, he can connect you with other people that are dispoing.
Yep.
One of the most valuable parts of negotiating with a seller. So you guys are sitting there saying, well, I haven't gotten a deal yet. One of the most valuable parts of negotiating with a seller is knowing what your numbers are. Mm-hmm. You need to be leveraging Thomas and you need to be leveraging the other franchisees to get the appropriate numbers so that you can negotiate and crush it in 2021. Even at our level, we're doing between 20 and 30 transactions a month in my 4 markets that we're working. We use KeyGlee. We reach out to KeyGlee and we get our numbers. We verify our numbers through KeyGlee. So guys, everybody is using a disposition company to offload and streamline their processes, especially when you're brand new. Okay. Yep. So reach out to this guy. I'm freaking disappointed he only has 80 emails. The guy needs to have 400 freaking emails in his inbox.
I have some text here. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Thomas at KeyGlee.com. Come on, guys. Wholesale Hotline shows the freak up, especially on the 45th show, the last one of the year. Let's show up. Destroy this guy's phone. Make it melt. I know he has an Android too, so I know a 400 emails will just make that thing.
No, this is just an iPhone.
There you go.
My amazing daughter.
Thomas, can you read this question and answer it, please?
Yeah. So get me straight. I just send him a deal and he tells me if it's junk or he will tell me what to offer. Most definitely. Every time.
There you go. There you go, Kirk.
Super simple. If you want what to offer on every property, I can give that to you as well.
What a great thing that wholesale didn't have like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even up to like 2 years ago. KeyGlee was limited really to only 3 or 4 markets, right, Thomas? It was Phoenix, it was Orlando, Tampa, Dallas, where else? Houston, kind of.
Houston, kind of, yeah. Texas a little bit, but not really.
So this is brand new. Like, people need to be talking about this. They need to be adding this tool to their tool belt, is leveraging your guys' comping ability. This Thomas has, by the way, his we're going to create a t-shirt for Thomas that says, "I'll tell you." It's his favorite catchphrase. It's the best.
Yeah.
So Thomas and his team need to be a free resource to you guys that are negotiating deals. He's not a coach. He's not trying to sign you up for a mentorship. He doesn't have affiliates or any of that kind of stuff. He just wants to help you do deals.
Yep.
One of the best resources that we could ever bring to you is access to a massive buyers list that KeyGlee brings to the table. Massive.
Can you answer that question there?
Yep. Those kind.
You got to say it out loud, Thomas, so everybody on Spotify can hear it.
KeyGlee have seller contacts outside of their city markets, such as Southwest Florida, Miami, and mid-Michigan. So yes, we do. We have buyers in each market, really. You know, every market we have a buyer in, we just don't have a franchise in, really. So like, we're already making contacts in each of these markets so that when we dive into a market, we're ready to go. So a lot of the time, even if we're not there, we could connect you with somebody or help you still with that deal. We want to still provide you with that service, whether that we're there yet or not. We will eventually be there. So please just reach out to me.
Awesome. Can you answer Tariva's my superstar out of Hawaii's question here?
Yeah. Thomas, if wholesaler contacted a property too high, how do you handle that situation? So really, I would like to look at the property, the address, see if there's any possible solution there. There's some creative financing options, sub-2 options. We have turnkey buyers. So it really depends. I always have to see the address, and I like to weigh out any possible option. And the least I can give you is an offer to give to the seller to go back and renegotiate the deal.
Awesome.
So hope that helps. We've actually helped many wholesalers that contracted the property a little bit too high and say they canceled on the deal. We went back to the seller, renegotiated at a lower price, and still JV'd on the deal to where the wholesaler still made 50% of the profit and we made the other 50%.
Well, and it's fantastic. But you know, the important thing, if you do lock up a deal too high, going back and getting it reduced, the most important thing is if you're going to go for a price reduction, make sure that price reduction will make the deal go through.
Yes.
Nothing is worse than going back to a seller and then you can't sell it and now you're not confident. And then you go back to the seller and they're pissed. They're pissed at this point. I mean, you're going back to them again and again, and they're just like, hey, bro, leave me alone. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So you are going to give them a price that what you would commit to or that you know a buyer would?
Yep. If it's in our market and we have crews set up, we'll commit to it. And we'll give you a commit number to go back to the seller with. And then also we could even offer to list the property for them.
Incredible.
We have agents that are ready to list any property that we give them.
That's awesome. Greg wants to get on your buyer.
We haven't talked about yet. Here's a really good one because this is my question. Thomas, I've bought deals from KeyGlee, but here's where most of my sub-2 and my fix and flips come from, is they come from my own marketing because KeyGlee doesn't like selling me deals. I think you guys have better buyers than me or whatever, but I'm only doing 3 to 4 flips here a month in Phoenix and we want to be doing 6 to 8. Bro, how do I get more deals from you guys? Like, how do I get your attention? How do I get your love? And that's not just Pace. That's everybody across the country. You've got Greg saying, how can I become a buyer on your list? How does that work?
So definitely start out with emailing me. But the biggest thing is give us your criteria. We do things a little bit differently. We don't send out email blasts anymore. We like to build relationships. And like I said, we know our buyers like the back of our hand. So we study your criteria as much as possible. And then we bring you only the properties that you want to see. We don't give you any commercial properties, multifamilies, if you don't want to see them, or single family properties that are over 3,000 square feet. We're only showing you what you want to see. So give us the exact criteria that you're looking for, and then we will provide that to you. And we'll put out some feelers to find that specific property for you, and we'll have a deadline of when we need to get that property to you.
Okay, so Thomas, what if I told you I just want to make, so for us, like a lot of people ask me as a cash buyer, they'll say, what kind of return are you looking for? What percentage? I don't care about the percentage. All I care about is, can I net 25 grand on every flip? That's my goal. I just want 25 grand. Okay. So that could be a $400,000 flip. If I net 25 grand, I'm happy. If it's a $150,000 ARV and I make 25 grand, I'm happy. My goal is to do 5 flips every month at $25,000 net profit. So our fix and flip business does 1.25 million in revenue. I pay 250,000. I pay about $250,000 in commissions between my project manager and a couple of other people on my team. I want my business to net $1 million. Okay.
I love it. Beautiful.
Is 25 grand too much to expect?
Not at all. Nope. We have many
guys
buyers
that are like expecting 20% returns that are like not having a good time buying properties right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guys that are looking for the $60,000, $80,000 deals. Do you have a lot of buyers that are like, I'll buy from you, but I want a 20% return on my flip?
We do have some buyers that say that, but we're not normally selling to them.
Love that.
And really, the buyers that we sell to are able to make a decision over the phone. So I give the buyer everything they would absolutely need to make a decision over the phone with me on the call. So like if they need a lender, like if they need more funds, if they need a crew to, handle the flip because their crews are too busy, whatever they may need, I'm able to provide them over the call. So we hash it out on the call and you commit to the property while we're on the phone. And that's the biggest thing. We need buyers that we could count on. So like if you're able to make a decision that quickly, you move up on the list of getting our properties.
Yeah, and I think that's important, Pace. I think that what you just mentioned there, the people that are sticking around and they need 50K a deal and 60K a deal, they're going to get beat like a drum by the Pace Morbies and the other buyers that are going. And Thomas is giving you guys real life data here. This isn't just theory. He's telling you, if people are trying to push up all of these, the total amount that they make on every single flip, he's got other buyers, and that means you can sell deals for more if you give Thomas a shot. Really, 100%. I mean, it really happens that way. I mean, we do it. I mean, we come to you guys. We'll blast it out. We'll get a feel for it. We'll see how things are going, and then if we think that there's something going on with this property, this is a good juicy one, we'll kick it to you guys and just really go bananas with it and make way more. Way more. I mean, we have a great fight. I give all respect to my team, the 5,000, 5,500, like legit buyers, but you guys have like 80 or 90,000 in every market. You're going to have more retail price buyers in your list than pretty much anybody else. So it's just a huge advantage. It's just a huge advantage. Well, you asked somebody asked a question, how do you comp a property that's completely gutted?
So really, depending on the market, of course, but I normally take it down by about 20%.
Yep.
Sometimes. Yep. 20. So if I buy at 70% of after repair value, I'm buying at 50% if it's fully gutted.
Got it.
Just easy way. But it really does depend on the market. So
guys, by the way, we're at over 425 live viewers. Want to thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys so much for listening and supporting us this whole year. 45 episodes of Wholesale Hotline, and next year we're doing 52. We're going to be doing more than what we've done. We appreciate you guys so much. We're going to be bringing you whatever you need. So please, while the chat is going, I know I've got a meeting with Brent, Jamil, and our media teams talking about the topics and the guests that we're going to be bringing into 2021. We want to know in the chat, what are you struggling with in your business? What do you need the most help with? What topics would you like us to deep dive on? Here we are on a Dispo deep dive. Would you like to have Thomas come back in 2021? Do you think by that time he'll own 45 franchises? What's the deal?
Do 2,000 deals a year? I don't know. It's crazy.
So please, guys, as we answer these questions, Brent Daniel's going to jump into a question here in just a second.
Yep.
please let us know what value you want from us in 2021. We really want to elevate this. We want to get to 1,000 live viewers. We want you guys to have more people to squat up with in 2021. We want more people building this amazing community that I don't know anywhere else in the real estate community nationwide that is better than the Wholesale Hotline community, right? You've got TTP students, you got sub 2 students, you've got Astro students coming together and everybody else squatting up in between. It is absolutely fun to watch. So guys, tell us what you need so we can bring you more of it in 2021.
I love it.
I love it. So Aaron, real quick here, but yeah, listen, you've got really two paths here. Find an ugly house. Get the phone number of that ugly house, the homeowner of it, and call them up and see if they would consider an offer. Okay, that's number one. Number two, why don't you give them some tips here, Thomas, of what you would do to do your very first deal, and don't make it like going direct to homeowner. Let's do the KeyGlee here.
Yep. So really, I get a lot of deals through trying to contact buyers. Like I said, reaching out to those renovated properties and whatnot. I see if those agents are going to be listing any other properties, and get the properties that they're working on or that are in their pipeline. They have a large network. That's their main gig, is real estate. So I want to work with as many people that are coming across as many leads as possible. So really, like that's what I do. And then also contacting the top performers, seeing what they're doing in your market, what they're doing right. Because many people are doing 30 plus deals in every market that we go into. So they're doing something right. So we want to copy that and do the same thing or do that same strategy. And the thing that I recommend most people is the free leads, FSBOs, FURBOs, just to start getting into a rhythm or and momentum going into calling people and habits. You just want to get on the phone and start taking action. You don't want to be twiddling your thumbs. You want to jump into it right away. So I like to call the information that's out there, the FSBOs, FURBOs, and agents that have listings.
Wait, what's FURBO stand for?
For rent by owner.
There you go.
Yeah.
And wait, can't you set up alerts on Zillow to alert you whenever a for rent by owner hits the market in your area?
You sure can. I tell you.
Is there a bazillion YouTube videos that show you exactly how to do that?
Yep, there sure are. I tell you, it's all out there.
Yep,
it's all out there.
Yep,
super simple.
Absolutely
so,
incredible.
This is a great question from Liana. She says, "What do you think a good market to go into would be?" This is an interesting question because I can tell you there's people doing deals in North Dakota, South Dakota, Chicago, Florida, wherever. I have students everywhere. I know TTP has students everywhere crushing it.
Yep.
The real answer, before I unleash the Thomas Beast, the real answer is the market that you are consistently working and having good conversations, quality conversations with distressed property owners. That is the best market where you will actually do the work and not second guess. However, Thomas, are there markets that are easier to tap into virtually than others?
There are. That's why I tapped into Vegas first, because it's a lot of newer builds, newer houses, cookie cutter houses, very easy to value properties, very easy to learn that market. And that's why I tapped into Vegas first, because that was literally like, you could learn that market over a week, and learn everything there is to know about that market, because it's a bit small and there's a lot of newer construction there. So it's extremely easy. It's like Phoenix, but flip-flopped. The west side is...
And piggybacking on that,
yep.
Look at this question here. And I know it's addressed to me, but I'm starting out in Phoenix. Is Phoenix too competitive? Should I look to virtual in a different market? What advice would you give there? And then Pace and I can chip in here.
So Phoenix is a great market, I think. It's very easy to learn, just like Vegas. It's a grid. And honestly, so many people are going to tell you, stay out of this market. It's so competitive. I get that in every single market that we tap into. So many naysayers that say, oh man, it's so competitive here. There's not enough leads to go around, but really there always is. You know, you just have to have the right strategy. You know, KeyGlee is doing about 80 plus deals month after month. And it, you know, and it's super competitive, but they're still making it happen, you know, every month after month. So
yeah, Talik, to answer your question, the beautiful thing about Phoenix is they're good sized deals. You know, some of these other smaller markets or different markets where the price points aren't as high, and there's not as much appreciation, there's not as much buzz, you know, vibe about an area, you get smaller deals typically on average. So Phoenix, maybe you're doing less, but you're getting bigger deals. Very similar to some of the other markets that are a fist fight in, but it's really not. I mean, I drive every single day and there's still ugly houses all around Phoenix. So until that's over, then we got work to do. So let's get to work.
That's an interesting conversation, because when I first jumped into wholesale and I saw all these people cranking deals, all these TTPers, all these guys, Carlos and Sal, and all these people that like I looked up to for the longest time. I'm like, these guys are gobbling up all the deals. There's not going to be any more deals left for me. Yeah. And now I realize, like, the pre-foreclosures come every month. The houses degrade every single month. Houses fall apart every month. People get divorced every month. People lose their jobs every month. We are not marketing to brand new houses with perfect situations. We are finding people who are in distress and we are helping them. And there are brand new situations to solve in every single market, every single month. And Brent's right. When I drive around Phoenix, I actually get a little frustrated where I'm like, how have I not bought that house already? And it's
I don't know
hundreds and hundreds.
I don't remember if you remember this, Pace, but the first time I met you up in my office in that high rise, you were talking about the market and you were like, what do you think? And I said, well, we're still getting deals. I said, are you worried about getting deals? And you're like, no. It was just over. You know what I mean? It was no, I'm not worried about it. No, we're good. You know, so
it's never going to go away. These distress situations are never going to go away, ever.
Yep.
No one's ever going to solve, you know, people losing their jobs, getting divorced, foreclosure situations. Nobody's ever going to permanently solve that. It's never going to go away, ever. Here's a couple ones. This one comes up so often. Where do I get the contracts from? Yeah. Or do I have to make the contracts? Gabriella, this is the most prevalent resource in all of this entire influencer market, YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. I just tell people, for a wholesale purchase agreement, go to talktopeople.com. That's Brent Daniels' website. Go to talktopeople.com. You'll get a ton of resources, Now, for creative finance contracts, I don't give those away. I only give those to my sub-2 students. So I suggest, guys, we have 425 people watching live right now. I can guarantee you at least 150 of those are sub-2 students. So if you are a sub-2 student watching right now, throw up the peace sign and the market that you're in and let people know, hey, I'm a sub-2 student. I have access to Pace's contracts. Let's squad up. Let's do a creative finance deal together. Let's share resources and get access to my contracts by doing deals with my students. Okay, that's the price. Instead of you going and paying 30 grand on the contracts over 7 years of doing creative finance stuff, instead of you having to go do that to get contracts, just bring your leads, your dead leads, to sub-2 students, and you'll get access to those contracts by JVing and squatting up with students. Brent Daniels, best place to get a wholesale contract all day long. Talktopeople.com.
Talktopeople.com.
Beautiful.
Speaking of a TTP family member, this wild guy, Jason Lombardi, has a great question. And I don't know, this is a different thing. And he's in Florida. So I think that this is important. So how do you look at that, Thomas?
So really, I would like to look at the address. I always like to get the address right away. But, you know, seeing that that's not available, I really study, you know, what they bought it for, when they bought it, and then go to the other values, you know, and find out what the average value is in that area. And I am very conservative. So I go with like probably 10K lower than what a block build would be, or even if I study the market and actually wood houses go for more, you know, then I would go 10K higher you know, just really depending on where the house is, you know, what market it is in, you know, so.
Love it.
Can I jump on something real quick?
Yeah. Sorry.
The football dad says that Utah is a seller's market right now. Is it still good to wholesale in, or should I go virtual? Guys, name one market in the United States right now that is not a seller's market. Name one. Name one market that's not a seller's market.
New York City.
Okay, so New York, maybe downtown Los Angeles next to Skid Row, you know, whatever. But 99.9% of the entire United States is a seller's market. And
100%.
I can tell you, Thomas would not have opened up in Utah if it was impossible to go in there. It cost him a franchise fee, a hefty franchise fee to own that area. I also know a few people. One of our good friends, Cody Hoffine, is in Utah, and they crush Utah.
Yep.
Okay. I have one of my students, Selver, works for Cody Hoffine, locks up a sub 2 deal or a seller finance deal weekly.
Every week.
He's
incredible. He's incredible.
Selver is unbelievable.
Yeah, he is.
So, Thomas, on that note, before Brent had another question he wanted to highlight, so I'm going to let him jump on that. But my question to you is there a market that you would avoid other than New York City, downtown New York City, or downtown Los Angeles? Is there a market that you would avoid right now if somebody was starting out in real estate?
Honestly, there isn't. I find you can do wholesale really anywhere. Even in New York City, you could still do wholesale deals. You know, you could buy pretty deep, you know, and same with Los Angeles, you know, really anywhere I believe you can do a wholesale deal. You just have to, the numbers just have to make sense, and you got to figure out that market. Yep. But I'm really not, you know, it really doesn't matter which market I go into. I know that I will be successful if I have the right strategy.
Love that. And strategy number one is watch Wholesale Hotline every Monday.
Yep.
5 p.m. Same time, guys. Arizona time, 5 p.m. So guys, wow, we are we're at 450 live viewers today, guys. This was an amazing show. We've got another 10, 15 minutes. I want to talk about a couple of people that are coming up on the show as guests. We get a lot of information about contracts. Okay. We get a lot of questions about contracts. So we're going to be bringing on Rachelle Jarvis, who is my personal transaction coordinator and the owner of ConstantClose.com. She's going to be talking about purchase agreements. She's going to be talking about transaction coordinating, finding the right title company. She's going to talk about the common problems that happen during these transactions and how to avoid them. She's going to talk about a tremendous amount. So we're going to be having Rachelle Jarvis on. Okay. We're also going to be having Justin Colby on in the next couple of weeks as well. Okay. One thing I wanted to bring up is that we just had somebody ask right here, Brandon Mitchell, PB&J for 2021. Can you talk more about 8+ unit apartment wholesaling? There's not a lot of content around here with these types of properties, yet I believe they present big opportunities. We have somebody coming in 3 weeks that specializes specifically around 8+ unit apartment wholesale. He is dominating multiple markets, has a massive network, and we're going to be bringing him in for Wholesale Hotline, I believe, in 3 weeks. So stay tuned. We've got amazing, amazing guests coming in first part of January.
I love it.
Yeah, Thomas. And also the land. We're gonna be talking about a lot of land.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about having Jeremy come in here, or what are you thinking?
I've got Brent Bowers, who taught Jeremy, so out of Colorado Springs. Fantastic. So it's gonna be really good.
We need to get him on the show. Let's knock January out of the freaking park with just
it's gonna be bananas.
Banger guest. Thomas, are you open to coming back at some point, maybe Q1, Q2, talking more about dispo? I think people really got a lot of value out of this.
Yes, most definitely. Be happy to.
Matt Thomas is all for free.
Every one of you too.
Matt Thomas, this is not free. Okay. Here's what you have to do to be part of Wholesale Hotline. This is not free. I want 450 emails in Thomas's inbox, thomas@KeyGlee.com. That's the price of all this content. You imagine all the coordinating, the conversations, the graphics. the uploading, the downloading, the scheduling, the sacrifices. We can't go build our own businesses right now. We don't get paid to be on this show. So there is a cost for us. And all I ask in response is completely obliterate Thomas's freaking email inbox right now. That's the price. Thomas@KeyGlee.com. Please do that for us, guys. Thank you.
It will change your year. I am telling you, it'll change your year if you take Pace's advice. If you reach out to Thomas and he's in any of those markets, first of all, that's fantastic. He's going to be in 25. So the odds are good. All right. But second, he can hook you in with somebody else from that has a KeyGlee franchise and kind of, make that introduction so that it's not just some random DM, that somebody's getting. It's an actual introduction. So this is the connection. This is what we were talking about last week. This is about getting loud. This is about squatting up. This is about really all the resources are there. So strip away all of the bullshit stories and all the distractions and all of the speed bumps and just go find opportunities. That's it. Just go find the opportunities. There are people out there now going into 2021 that'll help you take that deal across the finish line. And it's something that really, guys, this has been an evolution over the last 12, 18, 24 months with KeyGlee and the services they've been providing, but really over the last 12 months.
Thomas, how many emails do you have right now? I'm going to be disappointed if it's not well over 150 to 180, dude.
So over 200.
Okay, there we go. Now we got half of the audience taking action. So here we are, guys. You guys are sitting here wondering how to get deals. First step, take action. If you're not taking action and emailing this guy, freaking get this up to 300. Obliterate this guy.
Yeah,
you might not have a deal right now to dispo, but you should have sellers to have conversations with. And if you have a seller to have a conversation with, you should have somebody helping you verify your purchase price. Okay, especially if you're brand new. Take the things you learned from Brent Daniels' YouTube channel, Jamil's YouTube channel about comping properties, and then verify it with KeyGlee. Verify it with Thomas. Okay, please get this up to 300 emails. Obliterate this guy. I don't want him to see the light of day for the next 2 days.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I'll work 24/7. I'm ready.
He is though. Everywhere I go, Thomas is there. I'm certain, right, Pace?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a meetup of 10 or more people? Thomas isn't there. He sniffs it out. He's always there. It's
I think he has a twin brother actually.
Will you guys make sure? Will you tell your team, Thomas, or I'm sure they're listening, just to put that list of the markets that you're in, so that you can really get specific with the people that are asking. And Jamil,
I have a question for you, Thomas.
Yep.
XX says, how can fix and flippers find wholesalers to work with? My first answer is go down to the Lamborghini dealership and just wait for somebody to come and pose in front of a photo. That's a wholesaler. Go get that. Grab that guy and say, oh, that guy taking a photo in front of Lambo, wholesaler. Next way to find wholesalers to do work with. If I'm a fix and flipper, this is a great question. I don't think we've ever had this question. If I'm a fix and flipper, and I want to buy more cash, I want to buy more deals and fix and flip more properties, how can I find wholesalers in my market?
So one of the things that I like to do is contact, I talk with a lot of agents, and the agents normally receive wholesale emails. So I ask them, hey, are you receiving off-market properties to your email? And I ask them, those are the properties I'm looking to buy. Is there any way I can get that email? Or is there any way you can forward me that house where you saw that email come in from? And I work these relationships with these agents because they have had experience in these markets and they get added to so many different wholesalers lists. So I always ask for that referral from these agents.
Building it up, Thomas, how much time did you spend on this device? How much time do you spend on this?
At least 16 hours a day.
Okay. How much of it is actually talking to a human being?
Probably about 4 hours, but I'm coaching all day. I'm coaching my team on how to do what I did.
Yep. That's it. But you're reaching out. When you were building this all up, you're reaching out to sell these deals. You didn't just press an email blast and hope and pray somebody responded. You were calling everybody. You were calling us. You talked to everybody, but it was really specific buyers that you knew wanted to buy in those areas or wanted that property. and you just matched it, match,
Oh, yeah.
boom, and then
Yeah.
you know, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's super simple when you break it down. It's simple. And really, when I was doing that 7,500 deals every month, I was on the phone at least 10-hour days. 10 hours a day, easily. And I was really seeing where people needed help and adding that value where I can. Like whatever they needed help with, I wanted to be their guy that they could count on, no matter what.
Awesome.
Yep.
How many are you going to buy? How many franchises? What's the goal?
The goal is 200 at least, 200 franchises at least, but I got to find the markets to go into. Cause like, it's a little bit difficult finding markets that are big enough and that don't connect with other markets and whatnot. Cause like Phoenix or Prescott and Flagstaff are like a market together. So it's like kind of like a franchise, just one franchise. So just figuring that out, but at least 200.
Love it.
Yep.
Love it. And do you have team? Do you have a team that's also responding and also helping you and lightening the load and being able to respond? And they have the same personality type and
yes,
you know what I mean?
Working on every day.
Thomas, we don't want slippage. We don't want people seeing this, referring somebody out, and it's the new guy and he's dropping the ball. Okay.
No, that's for sure. I am coaching them to be as loving as absolute possible. And they're going to be they're going to be like talking to me. And that's what's going to come across. And we got 3 or 4 recruiters right now that are working on bringing in individuals. That's their whole job, is interviewing and finding the right people for this business. They're going through at least 100 people and only hiring in 1. That's the type of volume that we're doing. And we're trying to find the absolute studs to work with, the people like me.
Love it. Love it. That's right. Here's a great question. Jean Carlos Mendez asks, should I build cash buyer first or go for first seller? I'm going to say the opposite of Thomas here and say, get a smoking deal now, get it sold, get your first dollar, I don't care if you make $1 on your first deal. Let it be real. Cross the bridge from faith to fact that you can make income from real estate and become a real estate investor and walk down that path, right? Cross that bridge. Yep. All right, Thomas. Now maybe you could play the flip side of the coin.
So, I mean, contact us, let us be your dispo. Really, if you're in our market, because we can give you the exact criteria and everything to search for that specific property. But at the end of the day, if you have a deal, you'll have a buyer for it. If you have a good deal, it'll find its way to get sold. You just have to reach out to a couple people.
Awesome. Really well-trained people. All right. Yeah, and just like Jamil said, this guy drinks 70 gallons of coffee every day. He's drinking it right now, okay?
Yeah, I sure am. I tell you.
It's almost 6:30 here. He's not going to bed till 5:30. He's on Pace's sleep schedule. Yeah. All right. They sleep 1 hour a day.
Too. And who needs sleep? I forget to use the bathroom sometimes.
Yeah, dude. That's why you wear a diaper on the office, bro. You just take care of business the whole time. Multitasking.
Yeah.
This is a great question, Thomas.
Great question.
Oscar Silva, how do you deal with hijackers trying to go behind your back to steal the deal? I'm sure this happens. As much as you don't want it to, but I'm sure it happens. What do you guys do?
So really, we build relationships. We know who exactly is seeing our properties, who we're getting the properties from, getting the underlying contracts. We try to only work with people that we have vetted. We have really vetted out these people and really know who we're talking to. We don't send it out through a blast anymore. We don't send email blasts because we don't know who the property is going to. So if somebody tries to go around us, we know exactly who that person was that went around us.
What do you do? Because it happens.
Yep.
Right.
So I mean, we get referrals, or we ask them, people that are the top performers, if they would share anybody that has done that before. so that we have a heads up when going into the market. So we're proactive about finding these people that are doing business that way.
Yep.
Because the word does get around.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best thing. I mean, that goes back to the whole philosophy of the show, is to squat up and have that conversation. Who do I need to avoid that is like not doing this business right? Who is like the real, like maybe they're doing some business and they're doing a pretty good job, but you just don't want to work with them. And then have that conversation. Yeah.
And you find that out within the first month, I would say. Well, at least we do, of who the people we need to avoid are.
Irene, you got it right. Blacklist.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is right.
And I like this, Razor's Edge 36. Don't post it on Facebook. Build a buyer's list.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
do we have a last minute? What?
Oh, what up? Hi guys.
What's going on, Bill?
Hey.
Where are you, Jamil?
I'm back in Phoenix. We landed. Actually, I've been texting with Pace and you. I landed about 25 minutes ago. Hopped in an Uber, got to my house. I've been listening to you guys crush it all the way home. Amazing job. Amazing show today, guys. Fantastic. Just wanted to pop in and say hi. I miss you guys.
I love it. You did miss the show. That's perfect. That's incredible.
Right?
I think everybody should one, email Thomas for sure, and two, take a screenshot of this and tag us on Instagram, on the gram, on the IG. What's a cool way to say it, Pace?
It's bananas.com.
So,
hey guys, going off of what Brent is saying, we got to about 450 live viewers today. And then last time I checked with Thomas, he had only over 200 emails. I'm pissed. There's another 200 non-action takers watching this. Guys, email this guy. His email is on the screen and just say, hey, I need help. I haven't gotten a deal. Let me know where I should go. Can I reach out to somebody on your team and get a comp? Or, hey, maybe you don't work in my market. Redirect me to another franchise owner. I know a lot of the other franchisees. They are all amazing people. It is unbelievable the process that you have to go through to get approved to be a KeyGlee franchisee. I listen when Jamil and I travel the country. I freaking listen to these calls. I'm like, dude, I don't know if you guys would approve me to be a franchisee.
Of course we would, bro. Come on now.
Legitimately. Quashawn Carter says, how did Pace Morby and Jamil meet? I want to hear that story. Jamil, do you remember?
Man, how did I forget? It's one of the most meaningful relationships in my. It's as burnt into my mind as how I met my wife. I met Pace Morby. He slid into my DMs. Actually, Pace slid into my DMs and sent me a message and asked me out to lunch. And I really thought he was cute, and I thought we might be able to hit it off. And no, really though, he wanted some advice, and he reached out to me very, with very humbly, but also with value, right? Because I know Pace was beginning to get his bearings. He was going to get started in wholesaling, and he had a lot of knowledge in contracting. In fact, my goal was, when I went to lunch with Pace, was to try to get him to be my contractor. Remember, I used you on one house.
Yeah.
And then
you used me on 2 houses in the very beginning, and then I did an Airbnb with you a couple of years later, but we ended up doing like 3 projects together as your contractor.
Yeah. And then, the hard part is that, my sister is also a part of our renovation and construction team, and she's a ball buster. So she was really giving Pace a hard time, but we had a fantastic lunch. We chatted all afternoon about some people in the industry that he needed a little bit of advice on, and I invited him over to my house for dinner. I think within a week, you and Laura came by, and Pace, you and I had that awesome chat in my guest house where I showed you the Ponzi scheme that your old friend was running.
Yeah, there was basically Jamil had come up in Phoenix. So Jamil had been doing wholesale for a number of years before he came to Phoenix. And when he moved to Phoenix, he worked with a couple of guys in town. And I also started working for those guys after Jamil had departed and done his own thing. So I reached out to Jamil. I said, man, I need advice. These guys owe me $350,000 and I need help. And Jamil at the time knew me as a contractor, even though I also at the time was a Homevestors franchise owner. I was a We Buy Ugly Houses guy.
Yep.
So Jamil and I actually started trading deals and doing business together. And I can tell you, Jamil was one of the primary reasons that even though that guy ended up filing bankruptcy on me to the tune of $1 million. By the way, that was only 26 months ago that he filed bankruptcy.
Isn't that crazy, Pace? Look at what's happened in the last 26 months. You got BK'd on and then you blew out like a bat out of hell.
It was the best thing that happened. And reaching out to you and squatting up. So this is what, guys, this is why we sing this at Wholesale Hotline. It's the same thing with Brent Daniels. Brent Daniels is the creator of so many people's podcasts and encouraging people to get out there and get loud and squatting up. Like this, us three people were inevitably bound together to create this Wholesale Hotline, create a community that gets people to squat up, because that's how we started. We squatted up with each other, started doing deals together. In fact, I have an assignment contract sitting in my email right now from Brent Daniels wholesaling me a subject too.
Woo!
Right.
Like, guys, we do deals together. You guys need to be squatting up and listen to Brent, by the way, because I can tell you what's happening with Brent. He's brewing something, and I'm not sure exactly what it is, but this dude's brewing something with Tom Prohl. These guys are going to blow out and get people educated on how to squat up and start working on podcasts to become the expert in your local regional area.
Yep.
So watch Brent Daniels. This guy, he knows everything he's talking about. He has changed my life and Jamil's life. And that's why we banded together to bring freaking Thomas Martinez, who owns 50 freaking franchises, to the show. And that's how Jamil and I met.
Love you too, man. I love it.
Real quick, Jamil, how did you hire Thomas?
Man, Thomas was one of those guys. When I first laid eyes on him, I was like, I am in love with this guy. He had the most magnetic personality. His energy was fantastic. One of the questions I asked him was, what do you see yourself doing in this company? What do you want? And he bold-faced looked me in the eye and said he wanted my job. In the interview, he said he wanted to be sitting exactly where I was. He wanted my job. He wanted to switch places with me. And holy boy, did he do that. Right? Did he ever do it? And look, Thomas, I'm going to share something. I hope you're not upset, but Thomas had to come back for a second interview to actually meet me. And the first interviewer loved him so much. But at the end of the interview, Thomas was coming down from Prescott for the job interview. Thomas didn't have gas money to make it back for the second interview. He didn't have gas money. The interviewer actually gave Thomas $100 and said, go fill up a tank and make sure you make it to this second interview because this is going to change your life. And I'm just like, you talk about fate.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Wow.
Okay, guys, anybody that's not following my wife, by the way, on Instagram and TikTok, she has that video that we did. She has like 3.7 million views on that freaking thing.
You're famous, yo.
You're
also famous. You're being.
What's that, Jamil?
You got fake accounts and shit going on now. You're like, you and Laura are just blowing up. You guys are famous.
Dude, I'm getting a lot of DMs about all these people creating fake accounts. Anyway, my wife and I, anybody that cares, anybody that's a married couple in this business, my wife and I are launching a new podcast this month called Profit and Love. It's all about working with your significant other, how to make things work at home, talking about budgeting, talking about sex, talking about all the things. My wife has not approved to talking about sex, but we're gonna talk about sex, guys. It's gonna be great. So sex and wholesaling, that's the name of the podcast, Sex and Wholesaling. So follow my wife. She's amazing. And that's actually how my wife and I met as well. My wife slid into my Facebook DMs back when that was a thing, like 12 years ago. I replied. We went on our first date that night and we've been together for 12 years since. So, guys, definitely reach out to my DMs, because these relationships through my DMs apparently last a really long time.
Your DMs are magic, Pace. There's an energy there for sure.
So a couple of things real quick before we wrap up. We're a little bit late, but this has been an amazing show. Thomas brought a lot of value. We had 450 viewers live, which, guys, we've had more viewers for sure. But let me break this down for you. It's the last week of the year, and the majority of people are taking it off. They're on vacation. And here you are listening, getting inspired, squatting up with each other, and getting ready to launch into 2021. So I'm going to say two things before we depart. One, if you have not emailed Thomas@KeyGlee.com, I'm pissed off. Okay, so email this guy, Thomas@KeyGlee.com, and just say, I don't know why I'm emailing you, but I want to save your contact information for future conversations. Yes. That's all you have to do. You don't have to have any reason to reach out to him, but just save his contact information. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to talk about a couple of guests that are coming up for Wholesale Hotline in January. Rachelle Jarvis is coming on next week. She's going to be talking about closing deals. She's my transaction coordinator personally. She's been doing transaction coordinating for 15 years. She came on board with me full time. And then about 7 months ago, I allowed my students at sub2.com to utilize her services to add benefit to the mentorship. Then we've hired people underneath her. She's now helping Astro students. I've seen her help other TTP students with transaction coordinating. She's going to come on next week to talk about contracts, things to worry about, the trouble with title, what kind of bull crap she runs into title companies, how to find a good title company, things to weed them out and find the best ones possible. She can help you. She is currently right now, she is managing over 120 transactions in all 50 states.
Wow.
Even Alaska. She's doing a deal for RJ Bates right now, a sub-2 deal for RJ Bates in Alaska. So she can do deals in any state. She knows the proper title companies. She knows the closing attorneys. She is going to be one of the best guests we will have on Wholesale Hotline in 2021. Okay. Absolutely amazing. Then we've got Brent Daniels. Tell us about the land guy, bro.
Yep. Brent Bowers out of Colorado Springs. Guys, this guy, listen to this. He's making $41,000 passive income from vacant land.
My goodness.
From vacant land, yes. He spent $250,000 and it's worth 1.5 million. He's making 41. He's the bank. He's going to go through this whole thing. He's the bank. He's getting people. He's doing seller financing on land that he buys at a discount. It's absolutely incredible. He's going to be able to answer a lot of the land questions that we have, and he's a really good friend. I've known him for years, so he's phenomenal.
Love it.
Love it. And we've got a couple of other really good guests. I've got a gentleman that focuses on multifamily. He does 8+ apartment buildings and condos and all of that kind of stuff. And we haven't had a really, really good guest that focuses primarily on that. So we've got him coming up in January. We've got word of Justin Colby and some other return guests. Steve Trang and I were texting earlier. He wants to make a return appearance in the first couple of months of Wholesale Hotline, talk about the things he's working on. And then on top of it, guys, I've seen so many great comments about what you guys want help with in 2021. So we're going to be bringing a ton of value. Now, final thing I want to say. We brought this up, and now I'm going to force it on everybody. I want to see the competition. I want to do a competition all around comping. You guys, so check this out. Last week I did this thing where I had 8 of my sales guys do a live competition for 8 hours. Okay. And we call it the Cucumber Challenge. And why do I call it the Cucumber Challenge? Is because the first sales guy to say cucumber 4 times to a live seller in a natural conversation gets a bonus and a glass trophy of a cucumber. And they hold on to that cucumber all until next month. So every month we're going to be doing this in 2021, the Cucumber Challenge. We ended up giving away a little over $4,000 in commission, like bonus spiffs to my sales guys. So we're going to be showing you guys a ton of sales training for free in 2021, just bringing you massive value. Okay. I think we got to come up with some sort of cool competition around comping properties. And I don't know how to structure that, but I think it would be fun to have the first episode, Jamil versus Thomas. What kind of competition? Oh yeah, guy says my money's on Jamil. For sure, he's the godfather.
Yeah.
It's like Floyd Mayweather fighting Conor McGregor. Like, look, I love Conor. He's great. That was a good fight, but Floyd Mayweather is undefeated. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
What do you guys think the competition structure should be like? I'd love your guys' DMs. Hit me up on Instagram and tell me what you think the competition should look like. And let's have that conversation and create Jamil and Thomas, the competition.
Let's go, Thomas.
I love it. I love it. Ready.
We'll turn it into a big pay-per-view.
Just to give you guys an idea, this is just Houston alone of as many properties as I get a day.
There you go.
All of those out. So just to kind of give you guys perspective.
What are you trying to say, Thomas? What are you trying to say? That I'm not comping anymore?
What are
you trying to say? I can't comp with one hand?
Yeah, hey, that's your comp in hand. He's got you at a disadvantage, Jamil. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, he's coming up strong.
I mean, it's practice every day, that's for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. 45 shows in 2020. I just got a text. My wife wants to start a podcast called "When Are You Going to Be Home, Brent?" So,
oh man.
Love you guys.
Anyway, love you guys. Fantastic, Thomas. You really crushed it. You get. I think you might underestimate how much value you gave today, but you gave an incredible amount. It's 2021 is going to be absolutely incredible. It's going to be bananas. And I think we're just warming up with the show. I think we're going to do some special things. So stick around. Tell all the people you love, if they're in real estate or if they're thinking about it, to join in, watch the show, and download it, listen to it again on the podcast version on iTunes and Spotify.
Love it.
Appreciate it, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you next week on Wholesale Hotline with Rachelle Jarvis, all about contracts, transaction coordinating,